So we are around 3 months or so away from the Royal Rumble, which actually means it's not a crazy time to try and guess it. But really, we are not going to know the direction for the WWE in 2025, probably until we get out the other side of Survivor Series, especially because in early January we have the move to Netflix. I imagine The Rock is going to come back, and we have John Cena. So, that's going to influence what WWE has decided to do next year. But as I do sit down here in early October, I thought, you know what? I am going to pick 5 men, and I'm going to pick 5 women, and they are going into my prediction cannon to win next year's Royal Rumble. So we'll go one at a time from each side, and this is the first one I'm doing for the men. Probably isn't going to win it, but I do think he's going to be in it, and that in itself does deserve somewhat of a celebration, because when was the last time we saw flipping Roman Reigns in a Royal Rumble? And of course, when you think of the Royal Rumble and Roman Reigns, you think of 2015 and 2016 and other years when everyone was just like, boo, boo, and of course, maybe we even tied in. We had that one in Philadelphia where The Rock tried to help him, that didn't work. Then we had the other one with Kane and Big Show. Maybe that was the same one. I don't know. They all blur into one. There was the Rey Mysterio thing, the Daniel Bryan thing, the Bryan Danielson thing. It was a total mess. But Roman Reigns being in the Royal Rumble is always going to be a big deal because Roman Reigns is a massive deal. So if he enters the damn thing and he is not going to win, which by the way, I don't think that he is, it means that we are going to be using him for huge story ramifications that are probably going to lead into WrestleMania. And listen, you could totally do Roman versus Jacob for 2 at WrestleMania, and Jacob for 2 could even win the Royal Rumble. Now, I don't have him on this list. I think it's too early. And again, if he is going to be taking on someone like Roman, you don't need to pull the trigger just yet. And we've already done so much with him. People know he is a big deal. But just whenever he walks out, right, let's say it's number 17, he ain't going to go all the way to the end, but it just means at next year's Royal Rumble, we are going to get some seismic events, because if somebody else goes on to be the victor, before all of that, Roman has to set his GPS and decide in which direction he's going to head. And that's why I think it's going to be so excited to be a WWE fan in 2025, because John Cena, The Rock, there'll be other people that will be coming and going and doing this and doing that, and we're going to continue to build up Cody Rhodes as well, so you kind of almost have 2 faces of the company. But then you got CM Punk as well, and Drew McIntyre is kicking ass, and a bunch of other people I haven't even mentioned. I mean, throw Jey Uso in there. He could win the Royal Rumble. Now, I'm not saying that he is, and in fact, I don't have him on my list. But if I get to the end of that damn thing, and Jey Uso is the last man standing, I will have a tear running down my face. Moving over to the women, I think Jade Cargill is an absolutely tremendous shout to be the victor, because I totally believe that come WrestleMania 41, we shall be doing Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair. That's just an easy way to do it. They split them up, and then depending who's going to be the face and depending who's going to be the heel. And listen, I'm cheating here, but I can't help it. The story has pushed me in this way. I do have Bianca Belair on here as well. Again, it depends on what you want to do at WrestleMania. So, for example, if you've decided that Bianca Belair is going to win at WrestleMania, have Jade Cargill win the Royal Rumble, and then vice versa. But the other thing, of course, is that Bianca Belair has already been very successful in previous Royal Rumbles, whereas Jade Cargill debuted at the 2024 one. And I think if we are going to break that tag team up, and all of a sudden we are going to start going, oh my God, Jade Cargill, she's the greatest person ever. Her winning the Royal Rumble is a massive statement of intent. We're not mucking around. We're going whole hog, whatever the hell the term you want to use. And everyone goes nuts when you talk about Jade. Like, oh man, she can't work a match. She can work a fine match. Again, do I want to see Jade Cargill do a Hurricane Rana? I mean, she probably will do that. But no, I want to see Jade Cargill whoop people's butts. So that is what I hope that we do here as well. But again, Bianca Belair, as soon as she starts going after a world championship again, she'll be a singles competitor. She's such a good babyface. She's so damn talented. So if you did want to reset her or revitalize her, whatever the word would be, once again, in the singles division, winning the Royal Rumble ain't no bad thing. So I actually think that's 2 fantastic options, and it can shape their entire 2025. You could even do a run of matches with them. Doesn't have to be a one and done. And again, if we do start planting the seeds now for the breakup, which we may do, we'll have a 6-month storyline, maybe even longer, which could be really cool. So I'm throwing Jade Cargill in there, and I'm throwing Bianca Belair in there too. Going back to the men, we're not doing this in any particular order. This is the person that I actually think is going to win. That's right. This is my proper prediction, because I don't know. There's just something about it that seems to make sense, and given everything that did happen earlier in the year, I'm more convinced than ever. I do believe. I think he'll be back on that Netflix show. Maybe he announces for it or declares for it. Maybe he doesn't. But The Rock, the final boss, is going to be your 2025 Royal Rumble winner. The reason I think this is because we have planted those seeds with Cody Rhodes. Some people think that maybe we'll do that match earlier. I don't think we will. And I think now that SummerSlam is absolutely confirmed to be 2 nights in 2025, you can do The Rock versus Roman Reigns then. In fact, WWE is going to need a mega match for that to prove that SummerSlam can have the same draw as WrestleMania, because because at the moment it doesn't. Not in a bad way. It's just if you're going to rank the big 4 pay-per-views, SummerSlam would probably come in number 2, maybe number 3, depending how much you love the Royal Rumble, especially because the Royal Rumble is actually the event that makes the most sense as 2 nights, but let's not worry about it. Different conversation for a different day. Anyway, The Rock comes back. He's like, Cody, I don't like you. I want to talk about that present, whatever the hell it is I put in your hand. Then he goes and wins the Royal Rumble, and then you're locked in, right? From the end of January all the way through to mid-April, or whatever the flub WrestleMania 41 is, you know we're getting The Rock versus Cody Rhodes, and the fact The Rock won the Royal Rumble means you can add sort of extra whatever bolts onto The Rock's final boss character. And I'm not going to say 100%. I presume Cody Rhodes will win at WrestleMania, but you never do know. But the fact The Rock wins the Royal Rumble means you can carry on, whatever you want to do in order to get to the Roman Reigns thing. And his loss to Cody doesn't actually matter because, again, we've got money in the bank. And in fact, we talked about Roman having a damn story in the Rumble. Maybe it's with The Rock. Maybe it is actually The Rock that somehow uses Roman in order to be victorious there. Roman's like, why would you do that to me, cousin? And then we keep moving forward. So I really think it's going to happen. Don't know why. Popped into my brain around about 3 or 4 months ago. We talked about it on a video just in passing. And now I'm doubling down on it, mostly because if it does happen, I can be all smug and a bit of an a-hole. And moving back to the women, it all depends on when WWE has decided to give the belt back to Rhea Ripley. Like, she is going to win it back from Liv Morgan. But at the same time, like, I'm doing this just before Blood, in case you catch up with it later, maybe WWE sees the worth in keeping that belt on Liv Morgan because she does have a really good pairing and a really good dynamic with Dominic Mysterio, and you don't want to lose that. Why build 1 star when you can build 2? At the same time, I'm pretty sure that higher-ups have decided that Rhea Ripley is going to be, I wouldn't even say the next super duper whooper megastar. She's a super duper megastar right now. But if you really want to put her over the top, again, I know she's already been successful in Royal Rumbles in the past. If she wins another one, again, that's just more accolades, and I just think you can turn her into a monster, right? She's already pretty massive, but I think Rhea Ripley's ceiling is way higher than it is now. So, I mean, the only thing is, I don't think you want to do Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley at the Royal Rumble, at WrestleMania. I think by that point, we will have run its course, or we will be dragging it out just a little bit. But maybe she doesn't win that title, and she wins it and goes after a different one. I don't know. It all depends on what we want to do when we're moving the rosters around when it comes to Netflix. But I think you keep Rhea on Monday nights for that very reason. But because I think there's so much stock in her character and her future, and almost turning her into the face of the women's division, more success is never a bad thing, especially because she's so damn over and people have that personal connection with her. I think when you are breaking lists like this down, and please make sure you do it in the comments below, put your own 5 and 5, Rhea Ripley has to be in there because she's in the upper echelon of female stars, and I would love it if she won. I really, really would. I think she, like I say, is just starting her journey in terms of how big she is going to become. So yeah, you put her in positions where she can shine even brighter, and she's somebody that will shine like a star. That's the stupidest thing I've ever said. Moving back to the men, I will say this every single year until the cows come home, and really, actually, it's not as early as you probably could have done it. I would always have Bron Breakker in the mix, especially because he started teasing something with Gunther the other day, and I was like, well, what the flub is going on there? But I still dream of a world where we take someone who's not like brand new, but a sort of, diamond in the rough, and go, you know what? We're going all in. There's no other people that we really want to win the Royal Rumble this year. It'd be like Bron Breakker winning it this year, I suppose, in 2024. Everyone would have been like, what the flub is that? And then you're off to the races. But, Bron Breakker is a babyface, okay? That's why he didn't attack Jey Uso on Raw recently. I think management has realized he's still going to be a tough guy, and he's still going to whip your ass, and he's still going to talk, oh my gosh, I'm the greatest person ever, and spear you into next week. But people don't want to boo this guy. He's too cool. Like, when you are able to do the things that he's able to do, like hit the ropes at 47 miles an hour, whatever he does, people want to cheer that. People want to get behind that. He's a next level talent, especially when it comes to his physicality, and the WWE universe has just accepted that. So, if The Rock and Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes can sort of have their own story because they are such big stars and we can already lean on the stuff we did at WrestleMania 40, why not give it to someone like Bron Breakker? I mean, the weird thing would be, even with 2 nights, he probably wouldn't main event either one of them, and people are going to get irked by that, as you rightfully should, because it is the rules of the Royal Rumble. But I think he's in that conversation now, and I think over the next 4 months, given where we are now, and that he may have a World Championship match with Gunther, he's going to be thrown right into the mix. And if we get to the end of, I would say halfway through, actually, 2026, and he hasn't become a world champion in some sense, or at least become, sort of got super duper close, I'll be very, very surprised. I think it's a fast track situation. I think WWE understands they need to continually build new stars. They didn't do that in the sort of 2010s era, and it was a total nightmare. So when you have someone that's as good as this, don't stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne. pushed a guy. And you're all going to get mad with my last two women, but we'll start with number 4. Charlotte Flair does indeed have to come back soon. It is going to be a pretty big return because she has been out for so long. And you know that WWE likes to do big things with Charlotte Flair. Now, my only issue with it is that Charlotte will come back as a babyface, and I never think that's the right role for her. She is such a better heel. She can be a good guy, but I think she excels so much more as a bad guy. I always want to kind of fit her into that position as soon as possible, and I don't mind if she wins the Royal Rumble. Again, absence makes the heart go fonder. She's probably going to have a 12-month absence by the time she does come back, so as long as you get the right story for her and you get the right opponent for her leading into WrestleMania, I think it actually could be pretty damn good. And because the women's division continues to grow and it continues to get better, there's nothing wrong with ensuring she has her place within that because she is damn talented. I just think there was that period, mostly under Vince McMahon, when it became very rinse, wash, repeat, and it got a little bit dull. Same with Roman Reigns and same with other people that do get pushed down your throat. So that, again, that doesn't take away from her skill level. So if you could actually map out something that worked for her and ended at WrestleMania, maybe she even wins a championship and gets one step closer to beating Ric Flair's record. I think she's at 15 now. I can't remember. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. But again, in the discussion, I think you have to have Charlotte Flair if indeed she is going to be ready by the Royal Rumble. And given that it is 3 more months, I do think that we are entering that territory. And it's all about the presentation of it. I didn't like it when she came back last time as a babyface. Didn't think it worked. I think the fans were a little bit confused too. Not that she can't do it, but maybe we just didn't, I don't know what the right word would be. We didn't go all in with it enough as we should. And we were kind of like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, and then you shake it all about. Whatever that song was. But Charlotte Flair, as I look through this list, you know what? I'm going to do it. She is going to be my proper prediction. Like I've done with The Rock too, because once again, I just want to be smug. Moving back to the men as well, you have Randall, Keith, Orton, because I've still got this video I need to edit. It's all good to go. I think that Kevin Owens is turning heel. I mean, he may turn heel. He may do that. But I actually think that is just the catalyst for Randy Orton's heel turn. He ain't going to Kevin Owens and telling him, oh, I told Cody to come out and help us. He's playing all sides. And Randy Orton is going to go back to being the Viper, and we're going to get into the Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton feud. Now, I suppose you don't want to do it with Cody, like, I could never fight you, Randy, or my brother, and then Randall goes and wins the Royal Rumble and gets in that way. But there could be something where right before that he screws him over, or maybe we hold it off until the Royal Rumble. Maybe we plant the seeds now, Randy Orton wins the thing, and Cody Rhodes super happy, oh, I can't believe it, you did it, and I did it, and aren't we great? We should go and kiss by the fire when Randy turns on him and drops him with the RKO. And now you have to face me at WrestleMania, because I won the Royal Rumble. Now, because I'm convinced that The Rock is going to take that place, I don't think it's going to be Randy Orton. Don't you love the fact that's an option? I certainly do, and be it before WrestleMania or after WrestleMania or at WrestleMania, if WWE changes its mind, we are going to get Cody Rhodes, a super duper good guy, world champion, gets Randy Orton, the super duper bad guy. I'm going to rick you ass. And I tell you, if Randy Orton wins the belt for a little bit during that feud, I'll be totally cool with it because, ironically, they have the legacy together, and if we tell that tale, it's going to be one of the best stories of the year, which is also why I'd hold it till after WrestleMania. That can be a SummerSlam main event too. If you main event one night of SummerSlam with The Rock versus Roman Reigns, and the other one with Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, well, I'll tell you, Mrs. Nanny, that is a WrestleMania caliber show. And the last person on the women's side, of course, is Becky Lynch. And the reason we don't need to talk about it too much is because it's the same reason for Charlotte Flair. She's been away for ages. She did come back and win the Royal Rumble, even though she won a Royal Rumble before. I would like it. Now, in many ways, Becky Lynch seems to irk people more than Charlotte does for some reason. Love Becky Lynch. I've missed Becky Lynch ever since she went away. I think she's one of the best WWE women superstars of all time, and she has a great match with everyone. I enjoyed her NXT run. I just like Becky Lynch, and I doubled down on that after I did read her book. And look, if she's not for you, that's totally cool, but I don't think we need to get personal with the insults, as a lot of crazy people do. But, you know, she could come back. She could even be a surprise. She comes in, she wins the thing, and you Cody Rhodes her ass. I wouldn't have a problem with that either. I mean, I don't know what the match would be at WrestleMania. I don't think you want to redo Rhea Ripley versus Becky, even though that was good, because I think that Rhea Ripley should be winning at WrestleMania. And also, if Becky Lynch does come back as a proper babyface, which I presume she will do, I think you want a proper heel to take her on. Maybe you do the Nia Jax match there, although I don't think it's going to work either. I don't know. But I think that Becky Lynch needs to be in the conversation, so I've shoved her in there. And with the men, I'm shoving CM Punk in there too. Now, I don't think he was going to win this year. That was a rumor, right? Oh, he changed it to Cody because of CM Punk's injury. I think that's pretty much been evaporated now. It's been chucked out the window. There's just no way. But it all depends on what we're going to do with CM Punk. My worry is that his WrestleMania main event has gone away because we need to fit Cody Rhodes, The Rock, and Roman Reigns somehow into those 2 nights. Now, listen, if it is Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu, I don't believe that it should main event either night, but Roman Reigns is probably going to see that very differently for obvious reasons. I don't think Seth Rollins is going to be a champion, so if we are going to do CM Punk versus Seth Rollins over that WrestleMania weekend, then Punk doesn't need to win it anyway. But I do think he'll get close. I think he'll be part of the final four. But then if you're going to do CM Punk versus Seth Rollins as the main event, one of them does need to be the champion. I don't know. This one is really, really tough. When do we take it off Gunther? Does Seth Rollins take it from Gunther? And we just basically repeat what we were going to do in 2024 and 2025. And probably on night one, you have CM Punk winning the championship and then him skipping down the lane. It's a pretty good moment, right? Imagine on night one, CM Punk becoming the champ, and night two, Cody Rhodes defeats The Rock. You're probably going to feel pretty good about pro wrestling, but I do think he will be a contender. I do think he'll be right up there in the odds. And again, if he did win, I wouldn't be surprised. And I don't think CM Punk has ever won a Royal Rumble. I may be wrong in saying that. I get confused, but I don't think if Vince McMahon ran WWE ever let him sort of, tonk that horn, for lack of a better term. I regret saying it, because again, we've talked about this verbatim, it's not the word, ad nauseum, that CM Punk was always treated as a lesser guy, even though now finally he's been treated as a guy, and he's fit into that mold perfectly. But yes, Roman, The Rock, Bron Breakker, Randy Orton, and CM Punk will be my front runners. I'm sure there's other people I've forgotten, but listen, these are the people that took over my feelings, as did Jade, Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Becky Lynch. I did think about Tiffany Stratton, but I don't think you want to give her the Money in the Bank briefcase and then allow her to win the Royal Rumble. I think you're asking for a bad time. We don't want a bad time. We only want good times. Now, please do like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Get the video on the screen for me chatting about wrestling some more. I always appreciate that. And smash that bell and turn on notifications, especially on your mobile device, because my word, it's ruining my life. Otherwise, it is grillermind.com/Simon. Use Simon, get 10% off, or often 30% off. These are the supplements I use, and they're awesome. So I think you should use them too. Otherwise, it's patreon.com/Simon316. If you want to work out at home with Anthony or go to a Go Fitness and use code Simon20. Simon316 on all social media platforms. Simon J. Miller on TikTok. Simon Miller on Cameo for personalized videos, and throughout October, all money I make on Cameo is going to the Hurricane Relief Fund that has struck the US, and if it has affected you, I hope you're okay. And ProWrestlingTees.com/Simon Miller for merchandise. Otherwise, get ready for the Royal Rumble, which is like quarter of a year away, but it is the year's best event, so we may as well get excited now. Goodbye.